Have you ever flushed your toilet and wonder where it goes? Probably not. Most people have no idea or care what happens after they flush their toilets. The water that gets flushed down your toilet is called wastewater, and treating wastewater is an important process that takes place to ensure the waterways around the world stay clean. This is a diagram of the process to treat wastewater. There are 3 steps of treatment that takes place to turn wastewater back into clean water, and the steps of primary, secondary, and tertiary treatment. Today I'd like to explain to you these 3 steps. The first step is primary treatment. It consists of 3 pieces of equipment to remove inorganics and heavy solids. A bar screen is the first piece of equipment in the process. It screens inorganics such as plastic. This is done by the wastewater flowing through a screen fine enough so that it can flow through there and inorganics cannot. The inorganics that collect on the screen are then raked up and removed by the screen mechanism, thrown into a dumpster, taken to a landfill. After the bar screen, the flow slows down less than 1 feet per second. Grit settles out into a grit chamber and is later removed to be taken to a landfill. The last step in the primary treatment process, the flow goes through a primary clarifier, and according to the 2017 edition of Standard Methods, the primary clarifier removes 60% of suspended solids. The solids are removed from the clarifier and pumped to a tank called a digester to later be sent to a landfill. The rest of the flow moves through the primary clarifier and into secondary treatment. The definition of secondary treatment, according to stats.oecd.org, is where bacteria consume organic matter. In this step, the wastewater is aerated by blowers and forced through pipes to diffusers that creates bubbles to aerate the flow. In this step of the process, it is monitored for dissolved oxygen, and according to the Environmental Protection Agency, the optimum DO for an aeration system is 2 milligrams per liter. The flow goes through the aeration system into a secondary clarifier. Here, the sludge in the wastewater settles to the bottom. Clear water rises to the top. The sludge at the bottom is returned back to the aeration system on a continuous basis and called return activated sludge. The return activated sludge can also be removed out of the system by pumping to a digester, also where later it will be sent to a landfill. The clear water that separates from the sludge in the clarifier flows over the weir and then enters the last step of the process. Tertiary treatment is the final part of the process and is where, according to an article by Clear Blue Environment, is where nutrients are removed such as phosphorus and nitrogen along with suspended inorganic matter. Once the water goes over the weirs of the secondary clarifier, it is pumped to a tank to be aerated some more before being discharged into a receiving stream. At some treatment plants, chlorine may be added before discharge, and others may use an ultraviolet disinfection system to sterilize the wastewater before being discharged. Once it's discharged to a receiving stream, that's the end of the process. So now you have a little bit of an idea what happens when you flush your toilet. The process basically consists of screening, settling, and aerating to get clean water to a waterway. If this process didn't take place, streams and rivers we utilize would be in worse conditions than they are.